When you sent over all this stuff about auras, I gotta say, I was a little like, really? But then I started skimming through this beginner's guide to the aura, and I'm not gonna lie, now I kind of get why you were so excited about it. 7 layers of energy. Exercises to feel this stuff. It's like we're about to unlock some kind of superpower.
It's funny you say superpower, right?
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of traditions out there that see this aura perception not as something like supernatural,
Uh-huh.
but actually as a totally human ability that we've just kind of forgotten about, you
Oh,
know?
okay. I love
Like,
that.
think of it like almost like a muscle that we all have.
It-
We haven't used it in ages, It needs a good workout.
Okay, I can get behind that analogy. So when we talk about auras, like, what are we actually talking about?
So picture this, right? This energy field radiating out from your body, almost like,
Yeah.
right, imagine the sun and it's corona,
Okay.
right? So you've got these layers and each one's vibrating at a different frequency, reflecting all these different parts of you, physical, emotional, even spiritual.
So it's not just like, I don't know, like a vibe you get, like good vibes, bad vibes. It's more, there's a structure to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this beginner's guide does such a good job of breaking down that structure. And it all starts with this idea. We're not just physical, right? We're energy
Uh-huh.
and the aura.
Yeah.
It's like the visual for all that energy.
Okay, so what does that actually look like? I'm picturing, like, I don't know, something out of Star Wars? Glowing, maybe a little intimidating.
You laugh. But some people, they do see colors, vibrant colors.
Mhm.
But I think for most, when you first start tapping into this, it's a lot more subtle. It's like flashes of light, maybe a feeling of warmth, tingling, even emotion impressions,
So it's not just about seeing it, it's about feeling it.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a whole sensory experience. That's actually why this guide kicks off with all these exercises to dial up your sensitivity to energy in general, If you ever walked into a room, right, and it's like, whoa, the energy in here is just off.
Oh, yeah, totally. Or you meet someone for the first time and you instantly click.
Yeah,
Or you just get a bad feeling.
exactly.
Okay.
That, my friend, is your aura doing its thing. It's picking up on the energy of everyone around you.
That's kind of wild when you think about it. Like, we're all walking around with these energy fields bumping into each other.
It really is.
It makes you see the world a little differently.
And that's why understanding the aura isn't just some fun fact. It impacts our relationships, how we feel, how we move through the world. It's a big deal.
So where do we even begin with all this? You mentioned layers.
So this guide, it starts with the layer that's closest to your physical body. It's called the etheric body. This one's all about your core needs, vitality, your connection to the physical world.
Okay, so if someone's etheric body is strong, are they like bouncing off the walls with energy?
You got it.
That friend we all have who's always ready for anything.
Exactly. They're grounded, practical, just full of life. But here's where it gets even more interesting. This layer, it's not just about how much energy you have. This guide even says that it holds a blueprint of your physical body, like an energetic twin.
An energetic twin. So you're saying if you could see someone's etheric body, you'd see their bones and everything?
In a sense, yeah. I know, it sounds a little out there, but it helps explain things like phantom limb syndrome. You see, even after a limb is amputated, it might still be there in the etheric layer. That's why some people can still feel sensations from the limb that's no longer there.
Okay, now that is just wild. It really makes you wonder what else is going on in this invisible energy field that we usually just totally miss.
Exactly. And that's what we're here to explore. And this guide, it's like our roadmap. And believe me, it doesn't stop at the etheric body. The second layer, the emotional body. Well, that's where things get even more interesting. Let's just say that.
Okay, interesting. I like it. Hit me with it. What's up with this emotional body? Okay, the emotional body.
This is where it gets kind of personal, right? Are we going to see all the bad vibes like you were saying before?
Not always. It's more about, think of it like the pure energy of your emotions before your mind even gets a hold of them.
Okay.
It's like this kaleidoscope with all these colors shifting around constantly.
Wow.
And this is where we experience everything, joy, sadness, anger, love, the whole spectrum, good and bad.
So it's like the etheric body, that's like the blueprint. And then the emotional body is like, I don't know, like you're actually living in the house. It's coloring the blueprint. You know what I mean?
I like that. That's
Yeah.
a good way to put it. And this guide really stresses that the emotional body, it's not something to be afraid of. It's not about suppressing these emotions.
Okay.
It's about learning the language of this energy, this really powerful energy.
Because if you can understand it.
Right, because when it's balanced, that's when,
Yeah.
That's when you really shine. Okay, so someone who's got their emotional body in check,
Yeah.
they're the ones who just like light up a room. Like you can just feel it.
You got it. They're authentic. They're warm, maybe even a little playful, you know. They're just comfortable with who they are, and you can see it. But when this emotional body is out of whack, oh man,
Then you get the drama.
it can be a wild ride for them and everyone around them.
For sure. Tell me about it. I've known a few of those wild rides in my day. So how does it actually show up in the aura, this out of whack energy? What does the guide say?
Well, think of it like this. Those colors we were talking about, they get all muddy, you know, or stagnant, or maybe even way too intense.
So instead of a beautiful kaleidoscope, it's more like you said, a storm cloud.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, that's a good visual. Unpredictable, potentially destructive.
Right. You just don't know when it's going to hit.
Exactly. So learning to sense this aura, it's not just some, I don't know, party trick.
Yeah.
It's more like this whole other way of understanding ourselves and understanding the people around us on this deeper level.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And that's exactly why this guide, it doesn't just want you to read about auras, it wants you to feel them for yourself.
Okay.
Because trust me, once you start sensing this energy directly, it changes everything.
So how do we do that?
Yeah.
How do we actually start? What kind of exercises are we talking about here?
So the guide starts simple, right? It wants you to get a feel for subtle energy. One of the first things they have you do is like make an energy ball between your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever done that?
Yeah. Sometimes when I meditate, I can feel it.
Yeah. Like a warmth or a tingling.
Because, like, is that just me? Am I making this up?
No, that's your aura.
Whoa.
It might seem super subtle, but that's exactly what we're trying to tap into here.
Okay.
And the guide says, you know, try rubbing your hands together to get some warmth going.
Mm-hmm.
And then slowly move them closer and then further apart, just focusing on how it feels in your palms. You can even, like, picture this ball of energy forming between them.
Okay.
I know it sounds a little woo-woo, but it really works.
So it's about paying attention to the things we normally tune out, like really becoming aware of that energy.
Exactly. And once you've had some practice feeling your own energy, it suggests trying it on other living things.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever felt, I don't know, a certain energy from a tree? Or noticed how your mood changes when you're around different animals?
Yeah, totally. Sometimes I'm drawn to a certain spot in nature, like it's calling me or something, or like being around cats, it's instantly calming.
See,
Like purring is its own form of therapy.
that's your aura and theirs connecting. And the guide has these exercises to help you tune into that.
Oh, wow.
Like with a plant, you can hold your hands a few inches from the leaves and just see what you feel.
Interesting.
Maybe warmth, tingling, even a pulsing sensation.
So we really are all like this web of energy, constantly talking to each other in this silent language.
Exactly. And the more aware we become of that, the more we can, like, consciously participate in it, you know?
Okay, I'm going to try that with my plants later. I'm going to see what they're telling me. But what about people? Sensing someone's aura. I feel like that could get kind of intense.
Yeah, it definitely can be. Especially with people you're close to, you might pick up on their emotions more strongly.
So it's like you're turning up the volume on empathy?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
The guide says to start with someone you trust, someone you're comfortable with.
Okay.
Have them sit or lie down.
Okay.
And then, just like with the plant, hold your hands a few inches away from their body and just kind of move from head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
And pay attention to any changes, you know,
Huh.
temperature, tingling, anything.
Okay. This has been fascinating, but I gotta ask, what about seeing auras? Like actually seeing colors? Is that something anyone can do, or is that just, for psychics or whatever?
That is where it gets really, really fascinating.
Okay.
The guide actually has a whole section about seeing auras, and it's not as far out there as you might think.
Really? Okay, now I'm really curious. Tell me everything. Okay, seeing auras. Now we're getting to the good stuff. You said it's not as crazy as it sounds, so what's the secret? Like, do I need some special equipment? Am I going to be out here looking through crystals?
I wish it were that simple, right?
Right.
No, this guide, it actually starts with this idea that we're so used to just using our physical eyes, you know, that we've kind of forgotten how to use this other kind of vision.
Interesting.
This more subtle way of seeing.
Okay.
It's like we've all got this sixth sense just waiting to be turned back on.
So it's not like some people are born with it and some people aren't. It's more like it's in all of us.
Exactly.
Or we just
got to remember how to use it.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better. So what do I got to do?
Well, the guide has all these exercises, right? And it compares it to, like, learning a new language or learning an instrument. It takes practice,
Yeah.
patience, and you really got to trust what you're experiencing,
Yeah.
even if it's super subtle at first.
Okay, I can be patient, I think. Especially if it means I might actually see some energy someday. What kind of exercises are we talking here?
So it all starts with training your eyes to see a wider range of light and color than you're used to. Think about like back in art class, remember how you mix two different colors
Yeah.
and you create a whole new color?
Yeah. Like blue and yellow make green. It's like magic.
Exactly. And our auras, they've got this whole spectrum of colors, and they usually show up as blends or layers, not just like one solid color.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So one thing this guide recommends is to start noticing all those subtle color changes in everyday life. Like
Yeah.
look at the edges of objects. Look at shadows, reflections, really pay attention to how the light plays on things.
So, like, really training your brain to see all the things you normally just tune out.
Exactly. It's like fine-tuning your senses.
Mhm.
And as you do that, the guide, it says to really pay attention to your peripheral vision. Because the aura, apparently, it likes to pop up in that outer edge of your vision.
Wow. Interesting. Okay, like you're catching something out of the corner of your eye. So do you have to like do a specific exercise for that or?
They actually do. One technique is to stand in front of a wall, like put your arms straight out to the sides,
Okay.
and without moving your head, just wiggle your fingers
Okay.
and try to see them in your peripheral vision.
Okay, I can try that. I'm gonna look so weird though.
Maybe, maybe not.
We'll try it. Okay, so once I've got like my eagle vision, how do I actually see an aura? Like where do I even look?
So the guide says start with your own aura, or the aura of someone you really trust.
Okay.
Find a dim room, maybe with a white wall, and just hold your hand a few inches away from the wall
Mm-hmm.
and relax your eyes. Let your vision kind of soften and focus on the space around your fingers.
You know what? I think I've done that before, but I always thought I was just, seeing things after staring at my hand for too long. Are you telling me that was actually my aura this whole time?
It very well could have been. This guide says a lot of people, that's their first experience. They see this kind of faint white or yellowish light.
Really?
And as you practice, you might even start to see other colors come through.
Okay. Okay, so now we're talking color. That's what I want to know about. I'm
Yeah.
assuming I can even get to that point, but let's say you can see colors. How do you know what they mean? Like, is there like an aura dictionary I can look this up in?
You are in luck. The guide actually goes deep on this, a whole section on aura colors and what they mean, and it is so interesting.
Okay, good.
And it all starts with the 7 main aura colors, which, get this, line up with the 7 chakras.
Okay, so red for the root chakra, orange for sacral.
Exactly. And each color has all these different meanings depending on like how bright it is, the shade, even where it shows up in the aura.
Okay, so it's not as simple as blue means this or green means that.
Exactly. You got to look at the whole picture.
Wow, so it's
Yeah.
like you're learning a new language, like you said, but instead of words, it's colors and energy.
I like that. That's a great way to put it. And what's really cool is that the guide emphasizes that there's no one right way to interpret auras. It's about trusting your own intuition. It's about using this new language to better understand yourself and other people.
I'm not gonna lie, I came into this whole thing pretty skeptical, but this has been amazing. You've given me so much to think about, so much to try. This is definitely something I'm gonna keep exploring. Thanks for like opening my mind to all this.
Of course, that's what
Yeah.
this is all about, right? Exploring those mysteries. Who knows what you'll discover?